Watch out! The fox is after your nuts! This is our review of Nut Hunt.
Nut Hunt is a dice rolling area control game about connecting your squirrels' territories, and I thought this was a quick, fun play.
It's a fast-paced, fun game with a cute theme, but there's dice rolling. Did that affect my opinion? Find out after this quick how to play.
Nut Hunt is played in a series of turns, with each player going through 2 phases with each turn.
The first phase is the fox movement phase, where players will roll the die and move the fox in the appropriate direction. They'll then forward for nuts on the tile that the fox moved to.
The second phase is for optional actions, where players can take one of 3 optional actions.
The player can recruit a squirrel by paying the recruit cost of that tile.
They can hassle the fox by moving the fox to an adjacent tile.
Or they can scout an objective by drawing 2 cards and keeping 1.
Whenever a player has 3 squirrels on the same tile, they'll build a permanent nest on that tile.
Whenever a player builds their 4th nest, they'll finish their turn and the game will end. Players will add up their points from nests and completed objectives, and the player with the most points wins. This was another game we backed on Kickstarter. I think I came across it in one of the Facebook groups I'm in for board game design. They kept posting stuff about it, and we kind of watched their progress as they were going through the whole design phase. And then when we saw their launch their Kickstarter, we backed it because it looked like a fun game. It looked like a theme that we would enjoy. And I'm glad that we got it because there's a lot of fun elements to it. It's not my favorite game in the world, but I do enjoy some of the mechanics that are going on.
What really drew me to it is I think I see this theming a lot, just forest and animals and all the games that we've played before it in those themes. I guess I'm just a big fan of and trying to see how they make it different or, what new thing is added. So this definitely plays completely different mechanics than other forest games like Everdell or Creature Comforts or things like that. So it was just interesting. I like the artwork, and it was just like a light game that we can play at the beginning of our game night.
Yeah, this game definitely doesn't take long. The box says less than 30 minutes and it plays quickly. I'd say that young kids can play. It says 10 and up because really all you're doing is you're rolling the fox die, and whatever the number is, you're going to match up on the fox direction compass thing, and then you move the fox in that direction. And of course, the squirrels are afraid of the fox, so wherever the fox goes, the squirrels have to scatter. And how the squirrels scatter can move them onto the different tiles, and that's really a good way that you can move your squirrels around. And when you get 3 squirrels on one tile, you build a nest, and that's like a permanent spot on the nest. So your objective is to connect 2 different tiles. So you're gonna wanna connect based on the objective card. So you'll wanna connect the mouse meadow to Briar Run. So you have to look at how they're arranged, and they can be different each time that you play. You have to look at how they're arranged, and you need to create a path, either with nests or with squirrels, to connect them. And then when you connect it with this card, you'd get 3. Plus at the end of the game, you get a distance bonus. So the further away they are from each other, you get points for each tile that's connecting it on its shortest distance. So I do like everything that's going on there. It did remind me, Lee had mentioned another game that we played, the Life of a Chameleon, where you're moving things and that scatters them based on where they're going because the colors can't match and all that kind of stuff. I think I like that game better because you can kind of choose where you're going, where this, the die determines it. And I think the luck of the roll did hurt me a few times with it because it would always go sending my squirrels in the wrong direction rather than in a direction that was helpful to me.
So depending on how the board's set up, you have to complete these objectives. If you don't complete it by the end of the game, then you lose points. However, it can be really easy if the board's set up and these 2 are right next to each other and you're just like boom, boom. However, you don't get the extra points of like connecting a longer path. But I think just connecting like really close by, like that was kind of a really good strategy for me. And you just want to make sure you're not like collecting these at the end because it will hurt you.
The initial draw of the objective cards at the beginning can make or break your game. If you get 2 really bad objective cards, you may be stuck. And then as you're playing, if you try to get other objective cards to try to counteract that, then you may end up losing points. If you can't finish any of them, I don't think you can go to negative, but you definitely won't have any points. There were a couple times we played this game and I had 1 or 2 points at the end. And that can be a little disheartening sometimes if you're playing a game and you think it's fun, but then at the end of the game, you didn't score any points or negative points, or you just lost really badly because someone else lucked out. Then you can kind of feel like, I'm not really feeling this game. There are times when I really enjoyed it, and then there are a lot of times when I'm just like,
I like the whole contract fulfillment with the objectives where you're looking at it and you just got to connect them, kind of like a ticket to ride, I guess. That was really fun. It's pretty simple because you don't have to think too hard about like what your move is. You either you either move here or you collect. It's very easy so that you don't get too caught up in, oh, do I move here? Do I build this path out? Because the fox can really just move and mess everything up. So don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, I would say that I do like the scattering mechanic. Again, like from Life of a Chameleon. I do like when things go there, the other things have to move from there, and you have to kind of think about what your path is. So I do like that kind of mechanic. So I did enjoy that aspect of it. And I do like how you can kind of maneuver your squirrels in a way so that you can get 3 squirrels and get that nest without necessarily recruiting a squirrel. I did enjoy that. But what did you not like about this game?
I would probably say it's also the objectives. I mean, so you can collect them, but there's no way to get rid of them, and then they cost points at the end if you didn't connect the road. Or if you did connect it and then someone messed it up or the fox messed it up because it moved, then that can be a little infuriating.
The main thing I didn't really like is how you move the fox. So the dice determines where you move the fox. I think it would be a lot more interesting if you choose where the fox goes. And yeah, you could use it to your advantage, but at the same time, the other players that go after you will also move the fox to their advantage or whatnot. And that's an optional action. You can choose that as your option too. I just think that that should be the mandatory action of moving the fox. And then the optional actions should be if you want to recruit the squirrel or do something else. So I don't like the dice mechanic. But overall, what's your final score out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd probably give it a 5.5.
Out of 10, I'm probably going to give it a 5. And that was our review of Nut Hunt.
What'd you think? Are you ready to get a little nutty with this game? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
I'm Kenny, and I go party like a board gamer.